Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Turner. Funny, I never call myself that. I'm Laura Turner, Doctor of Physical Therapy. I am the owner of Move Better Physical Therapy and Fitness, and I wanted to talk to you today about how the foot connects with your core to help you with balance. This stemmed from a conversation that I was having with my sister on what type of footwear to wear to help improve stability with high impact activities. My gut response is, I don't think you should be putting your foot in a restricted shoe because to increase your core stability. But truth of the matter is sometimes you need to have good footwear to do higher impact activities. So I'm trying to explain my thought process behind that. Anyways, the foot is directly connected into the core through the knee, through the hip. It moves around the same mechanics and planes as your pelvis moves. So both forward and back, side to side, and rotation. In the timing of that, through gait patterns, they're very synchronized. So if you don't have enough mobility in your foot, you may lose some of that mobility or try to gain mobility higher up the chain. And that can affect your neck, it can affect your back, it can affect your knees. And if you don't have that stability in your core, it can affect down below also, that your hips and your knees may have to overcompensate and your feet may have to overcompensate where you don't have that mobility or stability. So how does that work? This is a model of a foot. And your talus right here is kind of the driver of your foot and the main anchor from your foot through up your body. This is your shin bone. This is your outside ankle. This is your heel, calcaneus, tibia, fibula, and your talus. So that talus and your joint here has to be able to move forward and back, needs to go side to side, and is supposed to rotate. And that moves in conjunction with your pelvis and your upper body. So if your foot is floppy like this one, and you can't create enough tension and stiffness, then you're going to have compensations up the chain. Sometimes it's important, if you're going to be doing a lot of running and jumping, that you have a little bit more rigidity there because you don't have that motor control to correct that. And that can lead to symptoms like bone spurs, bone spurs not a symptom, like pain, plantar fasciitis, and trouble with walking or decreased push-off and stride, and which may affect all the way up. Bone spurs can occur and create other symptoms because you're not getting good mechanics. And that could be because your foot's too rigid and it doesn't actually allow movement, or it could be because your foot's too floppy and it's got too much movement. What I like to do is find why that's happening. When I work with somebody, I will watch them walk, I watch what their feet do, and look at each joint up the chain into the neck to see how everything is connecting. Is it moving at the right speed, the right time, and then do some more hands-on and find out what's stiff and tight to correct that mobility. To get back into the barefoot training, I think, I don't like the word never and always. So sometimes you should always wear shoes. Sometimes you should never wear shoes. I think finding that balance in between. Certainly if you have any kind of issues, you need to work into a barefoot training routine. Even if you don't have issues, your feet are used to being in shoes, they're used to not moving, they're restricted, they're kind of stuffed in, and you let them free and they try to move and they haven't had to do that, they're going to talk to you unhurt. So working in gradually into more of a barefoot training or positioning is important. Some people don't ever tolerate being barefoot to do high impact like jumping rope or running, and that's okay. Still doesn't mean that you should always be in your shoes. Maybe walking around your house, giving your feet some stimulus, getting a bucket of or a pan of stones, not sharp and something that's going to cut your foot, but something that you can stand on that gives you just some different feedback through your feet to increase the proprioception through your feet, because that goes down when we always stuff our feet into shoes. Massaging your feet, mobilizing the joints, standing on one foot, working on your balance in a barefoot position will help your balance when you go to do higher level activities. So it's kind of, unless you work out at a barefoot gym, you're probably going to do that stuff at home, but that can help to carry over when you go into a gym and you do, or you go outside and you go for a run. So taking care of your feet is important. Also may be important to wear a specific shoe that creates enough to not to allow you to move better and get better contact so that you can do higher level activities. I don't think there's one shoe that is good for everybody. I think it's important for you to try on different shoes. I think you might be in an ASICS motion control shoe today, and tomorrow that same shoe is going to be different. So shoes last, I don't know the mileage, but somewhere around 6 months, around 6 months. If you're a high mileage runner or you're doing a lot of high impact activities, you might need to buy sneakers sooner than that. But average around 6 months, you should be buying new sneakers. And that model generally changes. So try an ASICS one time, try a Nike, try a New Balance. If you buy barefoot Vibram shoes, work your way into it gradually and get used to kind of walking around your house in them and doing low-level activities before you end up going and running and doing, or jumping and doing high-impact things like boxing and all that. So it varies. I don't, running shoes tend to give you a little bit more stability than the Skechers walking shoes. If your foot's super rigid, those walking shoes might be good. They might give you a little bit more cushion and bounce. If your foot's not so rigid, you might need something that's a little bit more supportive. So you can look at the arch of your shoe and take it when you try it on. If you can bend it in half, then that's pretty flexible. If you can't, there's usually a bar in between, and if it's super rigid, then it's not going to move. And so it depends on what's comfortable for you. I encourage people to try running if you can, try jumping. Even in any of the sporting goods stores, you can jump in place. I mean, who cares if you look a little funny? It's better for you in the long run. And if they don't feel good, return them. Don't go running through mud puddles and then return them. Be respectful, but you can always return them if they don't feel good. So get something that feels good on your feet. And work towards getting towards a less restrictive shoe, at least in your everyday activities, so that your feet get some feedback, get you that stimulus, and wake the feet up so that they're not so sleepy. And that will help your core, because the better mobility you have in your feet, it's going to help your core. Stronger core is also going to help your feet and your back and your neck and all the above. That's all I got for today. Hope you have a good one, and keep those feet moving, show them some love. Bye.